Ozza Wilson just got absolutely trolled at an NBA game, and the internet is losing it. Imagine this. The WNBA MVP shows up to enjoy a normal night off watching the Miami Heat, and 2 seats away, a fan rocking a bright, impossible-to-ignore Caitlin Clark jersey. The only thing standing between them, Wilson's bag. That's it. One bag. That's all separating the WNBA's most dominant player from her biggest nightmare. You honestly couldn't script comedy this perfectly. Drop a comment. Would you have the audacity to sit next to Ozza Wilson wearing a Caitlin Clark jersey? Or is that straight-up psychological warfare? Let me set the scene. Ozza Wilson, two-time MVP, arguably the most skilled player in women's basketball today, decides to catch a Miami Heat game. Just a normal night off, right? Watching hoops, chilling courtside, minding her business. Except, 2 seats away sits a fan in a bright, impossible-to-miss Caitlin Clark Indiana Fever jersey. Not a Heat jersey, not neutral NBA gear, not even a Las Vegas Aces jersey to show love for Wilson's own squad. No, this fan apparently woke up, scanned their closet, and thought, which jersey will drive the MVP absolutely insane? And somehow, by cosmic coincidence or divine trolling, landed the perfect seat. The proximity? Absolutely insane. 2 seats, one handbag acting as a flimsy barrier. That's the only thing standing between Wilson and the player who's currently stealing all the spotlight. When photos hit the internet, chaos ensued. Social media erupted. Comments like, "She can't escape the CC mania," flooded in. Fans were clearly picking a side. Caitlin Clark is the face of the league. And my personal favorite? I know she's tight. The reactions were brutal, hilarious, and totally justified. Imagine sitting courtside as the reigning MVP while someone nearby is literally repping the player who gets all the attention, all the endorsements, all the hype, despite Wilson's trophy case looking like a museum exhibit. Now, let's pump the brakes. This isn't about Wilson hating Caitlin Clark personally. There's zero evidence of any real beef. This is about frustration, visible, undeniable frustration. Wilson has dominated the league for years, stacking MVP awards like groceries, redefining what it means to be elite. And yet, despite all that, she's not the face of the WNBA. Sponsors? Clark. Media features? Clark. Social media buzz? Clark. That sting is real, and honestly, it's understandable. Wilson's expressed this quietly over the years, through social media subtleties, comments, and her circle's reactions, that Clark's meteoric rise gets under her skin. Remember when Clark landed that video game cover? Wilson's voice was heard. Remember the unhinged rant from Wilson's friend about Clark? Subtle digs, passive-aggressive likes, comments loaded with meaning? Yeah, that resentment isn't simmering anymore. It's at a full boil. From Wilson's perspective, it's cosmic injustice. She's done everything to be the league's face, dominate on the court, collect trophies, lead teams, make history. And yet, when casual fans think WNBA, they think Caitlin Clark. When checks are written, Clark cashes them. When features run, Clark headlines. For someone as competitive as Wilson, that's got to feel like getting punched in the soul again and again. Wilson has spent over a decade grinding to reach this level. And then someone walks in and instantly gets more attention than she's accumulated in her entire career. Doesn't matter that Wilson's more accomplished. Doesn't matter that she's proven herself longer. Public interest has spoken. Spoiler, it's not Ozza Wilson. That's a tough pill to swallow, especially for someone as fiercely competitive as her, whose identity is built around being the best. But here's what makes this Miami Heat situation legendary. Wilson literally cannot escape it. She's at an NBA game in a completely different state, watching a completely different league, and somehow Caitlin Clark shows up, figuratively, 2 seats away, in jersey form. That's not just funny. That's the universe sending a message. Thought you could have one night off? Absolutely not. No matter where Wilson goes, no matter what she does, Caitlin Clark's influence follows her like a shadow she can't shake. Social media went nuclear. Comments like, "Caitlin Clark jersey from anywhere," referencing her from anywhere shooting range, flooded timelines. One fan joked, "Wilson's blood pressure just hit a new record." Another said, "This proves fans, not awards, decide who runs the league." The consensus was unanimous, hilariously awkward, and Wilson 100% noticed. Did she let it show? Nope. She's too professional to tweet about a fan's wardrobe choice. But you know she saw it. You know it got under her skin. Because this isn't an isolated incident, Caitlin Clark's popularity consistently eclipses everything else happening in the WNBA, including Wilson's historic dominance. So why has Clark become the face of the league despite not having Wilson's resume? Simple. Clark plays a style that electrifies casual fans. She drains threes from the logo, throws no-look passes that end up on SportsCenter, oozes swagger, confidence, trash talk, and emotion. She plays with a chip on her shoulder the size of Texas. Entertainment drives attention, and Clark delivers it in spas. Wilson? Incredibly skilled, make no mistake, but her game doesn't generate viral moments the same way. Dominant post player, elite defender, technically magnificent, but not as visually explosive for casual fans scrolling TikTok at midnight. She's not hitting shots from the moon or racking up 10 million views in 6 hours. Different styles create different levels of mainstream buzz. Clark also had a massive advantage coming out of college. She was already a megastar at Iowa, shattering viewership records, selling out arenas in states that barely knew women's basketball existed, appearing constantly on ESPN, Fox, and CBS. By the time she stepped into the WNBA, she had a built-in army of millions of fans. Wilson didn't have that same exposure coming out of South Carolina. And there's another factor. Clark is fresh and new. She's bringing in fans who've never watched women's basketball, expanding the audience, dragging people into the league who otherwise wouldn't care. Wilson, as great as she is, represents the establishment. She's been around. People know her. Clark is the shiny new toy, and new always generates more buzz than established excellence. Back to the Heat game, because honestly, it's comedy gold. Think about it. Thousands of seats in the arena, and somehow the Clark jersey ends up 2 seats away from Wilson. Cosmic coincidence? Divine trolling? Simulation glitch? Either way, it's perfect. Social media immediately started asking the important questions. Did the fan know Wilson was there? Did they pick that jersey intentionally as a power move? Or was it pure chance? Either way, the visual of Wilson sitting there with a Caitlin Clark jersey in her peripheral vision the entire game is priceless. What was running through Wilson's head? Was she trying to ignore it? Hyper-aware every second? Did they exchange words? Or sit in awkward silence pretending the other didn't exist? This also exposes a bigger truth about the WNBA. The league doesn't know how to handle a breakout star like Clark. For years, visibility was low, ratings were rough, media coverage minimal. Now they have someone pulling in mainstream attention, bringing in demographics that never cared, and instead of universally celebrating it, tension and resentment bubble up. Fans and some players complain it's unfair that Clark gets so much attention despite others accomplishing more. And they're right. It isn't fair. But that's sports. Popularity isn't always proportional to stats. Personality, playing style, timing, marketing, and pure luck determine who becomes the face of a league. Wilson has it all, except timing and the style that makes casual fans lose their minds.